Mr. Call me. Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, the face summary review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 40th anniversary Blu-ray Steelbook. Yeah, and yep. This is one of my favorite horror movies. Oh, by the way, if you notice that it looks like there's like another frame, another video over, like it's a dissolve or overlapping another frame, like it looks like you could see my hand like a mirror image, because I dropped my phone and like in the parking lot earlier today, and yeah, and there's this crack right here by the camera. Like I think the camera's okay, but like the glass in front of it like cracked and it's creating like a mirror image. If I put it at a certain angle, it should be good. Like like right here should be okay. Anyway, here it is. Here it is. Came out in so hang on. So like this movie, it came out. I mean even so. First off, uh, it was directed by the late Toby Hooper, who unfortunately sadly passed away last year at the time of recording. And the fact I never got to meet him is tragic. But he's in our hearts, and he's always part of this horror genre family. He always will be. Once a member, always a member. Just like once a ranger, always a ranger. Even though that has nothing to do with Power Rangers. But anyway, here it goes. Oh, this is better, actually. Like, in the dark, it's better. With this light, kind of, like, easier for the light to be seen, but it's harder, to be, to be in a good angle view. There, anyhow, here it is. So, like, you're probably wondering here, like maybe, what else do I want to, like, let's talk about, here's the front. It has a really interesting backstory of how, like, the director, Toby Hooper, came up with the idea of this movie. First off, we got to start with way back, like, hang on, what was I gonna say? Alright, so it's about the group of friends going on a trip, and teenagers, I say, or young adults. Anyhow, and like they're in Texas, road trip to in Texas, and then they stop by this farmhouse, which seems abandoned, but it turns out it's the private property of a killer named. Well, his last name is Sawyer. I forget the first name. In this continuity, it's Sawyer, but in the remake, 2003 remake, the name is completely different. Like the remake his name is Thomas Hewitt, but in the family's all and the house is different. It's still in Texas, but like in this one, the last name is Sawyer, and I forget the first name. Anyway, killer Leatherface. His signature weapon is a chainsaw. But other interesting facts: even though it's called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there was only one kill out of all kills, which the killer Leatherface used the chainsaw as the murder weapon. And like, yeah, really interesting. But still, it's kind of a historical movie, horror movie. Toby Hooper first got the idea. I mean, first off, Toby Hooper got the idea because he was waiting in line at a chainsaw tool store, and he was in a big line. He was looking around the area, the inside of the property, to see a way to get through this line, cut the line or whatever. And it was a chainsaw. It'd be it'd be awesome to cut through these people to get to the front of the line right away, just like that. Like he knows he was never gonna do that, but like imagine if he could. And that's kind of what inspired like the chainsaw to be involved in the movie, and he kind of give him, and then what real another piece that really helped this movie get made was many years ago, a serial killer named Ed Gein, who's dead right now. I'll explain that later. Like the death part later. He lured women and killed them and dismembered them and cut their skin off and made grafts like of masks from like his mask. And he used a chainsaw and he used other scary weapons, like painful weapons. And he even kept their skulls as like cereal food bowls. He used their nipples as part of parts of belts, like from their breasts. They use faces and their skin as part of the walls in his house. They use his bones to make. He used the bones from furniture. It was crazy and scary, and it's weird is that like back then when police would have a suspect or try them or find evidence, it would take like years. Like this was like in the 50s, I think, when he first struck and gotta double check if it's wrong. But and you're probably gonna, if I'm wrong, you're probably gonna say in the comments like, "Oh fuck you, Austin, fuck you, Spec." Look, it's an honest mistake. Gotta deal with it. Like, anyhow, so like, yeah, like they were sort of investigating him for over years, and then at many years they started trying him, and that lasted many years, and then he finally got to jail, which took many years, which was like many years later. But nowadays it goes quicker if they have enough evidence. But like it was hard back then. It was hard back then. The technology, the forensics, the DNA samples, like that much evidence. It was like, but he was caught and he died and he died in prison in 1984. And even though this movie is set in 1973. It came out in 1974, so it's 1 year off, which I'm okay with, not a big deal. And in case you're curious, what's the meaning of this cover? It's a reenactment. It's an art picture retracing that one shot of the van driving past this dead armadillo. You find armadillos in Texas, and so it makes sense. When I first got this cover, I wasn't sure what it was, but then later on I watched the full movie the first time in my life a few weeks ago at the time recording actually, and I saw it right there like, oh, that makes sense. And here's the back. It's just the van driving past again, like the same shot except the armadillo's not there, but however it does have the Steelbook logo, steelbook.com. And I went on this website a few days ago at the time of recording, and I was expecting to see a shitload of collection of steelbooks of classic horror movies like Halloween, Saw, Scream, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street there, but there wasn't really that many. I mean, I checked all sections, but it didn't seem that many. I didn't even see if they did for sequels of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but anyway, I think it's all good, but the thing is, like, you really should be, yeah, careful, like that. And here's a funny thing about this movie. Back then, when I saw the trailer of the 2003 movie, it said inspired by a true story, and you know how it begins with like in the film about the Goofy values, and they showed black and white footage of police investigating crime scenes of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and that continuity, and they were like acting, and the narrator was talking, and they were acting like it was a real crime scene that actually happened. So I actually thought that Leatherface was actually a real person. So like, and he was still out there. So I was like, oh my gosh, imagine we bumped into him. And it's funny. I was actually like telling people like, oh my god, this guy's real. And then I later found out that he was just inspired by Ed Gein. They just did that to make people go crazy. Like it really happened. But Ed Gein is basically the real Leatherface. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm just chaperoned at this Halloween party at my old elementary school at the time I was recording, and I was dressed up as Carl Grimes from The Walking Dead, and yeah, and like, so, and at the time I was recording, it's been 44 years since the movie came out, and 45 years since it was filmed. So next year, once 2019 hits, like once it's the exact date that came out, 2019 next year, is gonna mark 45 years, and I actually can't wait. I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait until it's marked 50 years. I know we got a long way to go, but hey, I'm gonna enjoy while it lasts. Like, so anyhow, like there are also crazy things you might not know about this movie. Like, a couple of actors actually got hurt and sick on set. Some people didn't like certain scenes they were doing. Like, I'm gonna start with this right now. Some of the actors like literally ran out of the house where Leatherface lived, and they like puked outside because it was sickening. And people had a hard time making it. It was actually a hard movie to make. It was harder to make it than you would think. Like, oh, sorry, people. Like you would think, oh, it's just you're filming it like in Texas. This going to these cheap places that seem cheap to film, like no CGI back then. It was easy. No, it was harder than you're probably assuming right now. Like, I thought the same thing, but oh no, oh no. They say it's not easy being an actor, which is basically true. And directing is not easy as kindergarten. I'll say that. But see, like I had a teacher. I had a teacher in middle school. He would say, if you think things are hard, that was because you can't afford to learn. I mean, you got to learn things in life, so you learn to get used to things. Like, come on. And here's the side. It's really awesome. It makes you feel like it's a box set thing and that you take it out, but that's the way it's designed. It's actually just intact for like. It's like another thing. Gunnar Hansen almost got himself killed on set. Like the guy who played Leatherface. Well, he's dead now. He died back in 2015, but when he was filming this movie, the chase scene with Sally in the woods at nighttime, that scene, when he was filming the part when he was running, one of the bloopers, he tripped on something in the woods because it was nighttime, he couldn't see in the bottom. And as a result, he accidentally let go of the chainsaw and it flew in the air. And he didn't know where it was gonna land, so he literally covered the back of his head like this and hoped for the best. Like, he hoped the chainsaw blade wouldn't land on his neck or anything that hurt him or kill him. But luckily, it landed. It didn't land on him at all, but it landed a few feet away from his head. Like, he could have died if it was a few feet off from where it actually was. Like, a few feet closer. But lucky he lived 41 years longer. 42. Yeah, 42, because it was 1973 when they filmed it. And Marilyn Burns, who played Sally, she's dead, and she died back in 2014, so, like, I won't be able to meet her, unfortunately, as well. But she's always going to be in our hearts, along with Gunnar Hansen and Toby Hooper. Like, remember the one scene where she got her finger cut and the blood was coming out? That was actually real, because the tube for the fake blood to come out when they were trying to act out, pantomime that scene, it wasn't working. So Toby Hooper said to the actor, you have no choice, you have to do it. And her screaming right there, it was actually real. So you wouldn't believe it. And, and one of the scenes where Sally jumped out of the window and landed on the ground, and she was covered in blood. A chunk of it was actually her real blood. Like, she was actually bleeding in that scene. Some of it was fake blood, and some of it was actually real blood. So yeah, she actually got hurt. See, a lot of people got hurt on the set. So like, you can see it. You can see it as a creepy, tough horror movie to ever make, and like, some of the actors are still alive, but like, they never really go to any conventions. Like, there is a convention in my home state right now at the time of recording in Parsippany, New Jersey, but like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go because my mom didn't say anything like, "Oh, we're gonna go." I mean, she did send a letter to request tickets, but I mean, maybe next time. Life is full of disappointment sometimes, people. Gotta deal with it. Let's see. The last shot that was ever... Oh, wait, no. So you know the scene where the grandpa, like, sucked on Sally's bleeding finger? Because it got cut in real life and in the movie, too? Like, you know how I had that all makeup to look really old? The actor actually threatened, like, we're only doing this in one shot. If you don't finish it by filming by this, that's it. You're not filming the scene. So they could have actually canceled filming that shot. Like, he didn't, even though he was acting out of the creepy role and with creepy makeup, he actually did not like being in the makeup. And that is sad. And like there was like they didn't make a sequel to this movie until 12 years later, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in 1986. And like it kind of was a way to reintroduce Leatherface, and I'll make a separate video about that in another video because I don't have Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 at the time I'm recording, but anyway, like it's a really bloody, awesome graphic movie. Like I liked it. I don't know anybody who said they didn't like it. Like, see, I used to like the remake better, but now that I look back at it, I think the original one. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Like when it comes to Leatherface, he's like one of those horror icons, and like you see, you went on to spawn this franchise. It was amazing, and then like also for Leatherface, like when when you like remember him, you remember him from like when he was born in 1974, like his legend was born, and it's just that's just awesome, you know, like and like Gunnar Hansen, he that's what like kind of made him famous, and like Toby Hooper, this is like one of his first big hits, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like they should be proud of that, and like I am proud of them, and like and now what's going on with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise? Let's get to this. Like, is that as a result of Leatherface, the prequel to this movie, taking too long to be released, they promised it to be released in 2016 back then, and then it got delayed to 2017. And I could swear they said it was going to be released in theaters and released in 3D, but guess what? It got sent to DirecTV and limited theatrical release, like one eye only, stuff like that, and then straight to video sooner than we would hope. Like, what the F? That's a big betrayal, but hey, it's good thing that the movie's still here. Like, next movie they make, I hope they don't do that. I hope it's an actual full theatrical release like they did with Texas Chainsaw 3D. But the thing now, that here it goes, like what I'm trying to say, is that as a result of Leatherface being released longer than they hoped or thought, the rights reverted back to a certain film studio, and then they said the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie they're gonna make, it's gonna be a new continuity of him. So like, it's not gonna be related to original, not related to the remake, not related to Texas Chainsaw or 3D continuity. So I don't know. I think they should give the Texas Chainsaw 3D continuity at least one more chance. That's what I think. I mean, I'll write a letter. I think, I mean, if I could find him. And like, um, they the original studio that had him before they got sold to the one that studio that has him right now. Yeah, I don't know the name. Sorry. They had a contract, or they were allowed to make at least five more Texas Chainsaw Massacre films in that continuity, Texas Chainsaw 3D continuity. So imagine that. We could have seen more of that girl Heather, I think is her name, or jeez, I forget the names anyway. So anyway, like I like I do tend to see these like like the last scene that was actually shot was the scene of Leatherface getting his leg cut open by the chainsaw when he got hit by that tool that was thrown by the tough truck driver. Smart move to make him not get knocked down. Mm-mm. That was like, I don't remember what the reason was, but yeah. And when they were filming this scene, the last scene like you see in the movie, that like this crew member was really close to him with a real chainsaw. Like they could have got hurt because he was swinging around like acting like he was acting like a man. He was acting it out, and he could have got people hurt. And then at some point after they turned off the camera, like hit cut, like he threw the chainsaw into the field. Like, imagine if someone was there or he did it the different way. Like, that would have been bad. And like, I actually can't believe it took them 12 years to make a sequel. I mean, I'm glad they came out with the sequel when they did because Tobe Hooper came back, and imagine if they were planning to do it like 4 years after, like what they're doing with The Shining. Like, this is gonna be the first sequel to The Shining, the one that's coming out in 2020, but it's gonna be like exactly like 40 years after the original The Shining. Anyway, we'll make another video of that later, but like that's a crazy thing. And like Leatherface is one of my favorite horror icons, and I just like wanna make sure that like he succeeds more in the future of this. My God. And like I never been to Texas in case you're curious, but I do plan on going. Uh not at the very least not until at least this coming summer or the next. I'll make sure I go within in the 2020s though. I can guarantee I'll try to convince my parents to take me. I don't know if I can guarantee I go by myself because I don't know if I'm tough enough to go all the way to Texas from New Jersey by myself. But anyway, like I'll figure it out. The thing is, like, you gotta really be careful with what you do. Like when you're out of state, like stranger dangers like that, and like so and if they do make another Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, which I think they will eventually, if they're definitely not for at least another 4 to 5 years, or maybe 10, 11 years, they might not announce it until at least 2 to 4 years, but you never know. Or if it takes more than a decade for it to actually be made and released, that would be shocking. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out within less than 10 years. I mean, that's what I would hope. I mean, yeah, like, and like, they must have really. I'm really proud of them for this hard work that they did on this movie. Like, I bet they looked back 40 years later, the ones who are still alive, like, wow, time flies by. I still can't believe I made that for almost like 40 years ago. And like, yeah, it's like it lives in the horror genre forever. It's amazing. Like, I think it's one of those movies that deserves to be watched by people who are interested in learning the history of film, especially the history of the horror genre. Along with Psycho 2. I mean, like 2, like, as well, not like the number 2. T-O-O, not T-W-O. But you know what I mean. And that actually, Ed Gein kind of helped inspire that too. Like, Psycho as well. So, like, that's creepy as heck, Oh, and I just remember, I think I heard they were planning on coming out with a TV show. Texas Chainsaw Massacre TV show. That I would love to see. I wonder if it'll be about, like, Texas Chainsaw 3D continuity, since they said it would be a different continuity in the next movie that comes out. That would kind of make sense. I don't know, only one way to find out. Maybe we could start a petition about it. Anyway, here we go. Anything else to talk about? I guess nothing else to talk about, but like, we'll see. Like one time when I went on this went at this Halloween festival, there were these people with chainsaws and wearing clown masks, and they looked like Leatherface, and it was kind of reminding me of the Leatherface in the horror genre. It's classic. It's awesome. And I also went to a haunted house, and there was a chainsaw guy, Leatherface chainsaw wielding guy as well. And it reminds you, and like, it's just awesome. And Leatherface is creepy as an awesome. And like I was where see, I bet a lot of people were crowding it, were packing there, like were at the theaters at the premieres to watch it. Yeah, like yeah, it's a good movie. I highly recommend it. I give it a 5 star out of 5 star, 5 stars out of 5 stars. Like for a horror movie, horror genre, in the horror genre, like the movie like this, it deserves to be remembered and be in the history of movies, like most historical. It does deserve it. So there you go. And yeah, anything else to talk about? Oh, I think so. All right, rate, comment, subscribe, and favorite. Talk to you later. Life is awesome. Texas Massacre is awesome. Check it out. Awesome in the horror genre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Can't miss out on it. So, peace.